next speaker is Jasiri X. Jasiri is a co-founder of One Hood Media, an organization based in Pittsburgh whose mission is to build liberated communities through art, education, and social justice. He's the first independent hip-hop artist to be awarded an honorary doctorate, which he received from Chicago Theological Seminary in 2016. Please welcome Jasiri X.
Ready to go. All right. Peace. My name is Jasiri X. I like to start with the greatest gift our organization received was this logo when we first started One Hood. A graphic designer named Will Fagans kind of created this logo for us. The one change that we made, one of our founding members, Paradise Gray, who was part of a hip-hop group that came out in the late 80s, early 90s called X-Clan, he added the slits to the O's because the Steelers logo has slits in the E's. And so we put this logo on everything. Is like, so get you a good logo. That would be my first advice for our organization. I was going to talk about One Hood's humble beginning, but instead of me talking about it, I wanted to share this clip from legendary hip-hop artist Talib Kweli and Pittsburgh legend Wiz Khalifa.
Pittsburgh is a storied city in American history, but Pittsburgh experiences sometimes this, what they call a brain drain, where people leave because not a lot of jobs, opportunities, more than other cities. People leave Pittsburgh and don't come back. And you have always been able to come back to the city and invest in the city and made that important. Right. I want to shout out Jasiri X and Paradise and them from One Hood because they do great work. Man, just tell us about that Pittsburgh sound and how important the city is to your legacy.
It's crazy that you be able to drop like Jasiri X and Paradise's names.
Well, I know them well. I know them from, activist work.
Yeah, it's so tight though because like Jasiri was at my high school. Like he seen me, he tried to start an after school program and I was one of the only, I was one of the only kids who went. So he knows that, you know what I mean? Right. And Dice, like people brought me to his crib, was like, yo, this is one of the youngest, hardest working, tightest dudes in the city. And he always sat me down and just like gave me game. So he knows too, like how, you know what I mean? Well, it's crazy that. But it's really, really important to always reach back and to, just try to give people a way or a thought process to find that way. And that's what was given to me. I got a lot of OGs, and it's really important to be an OG, you know what I mean? And not just take the game and run with it, but to give it back so people have, the keys to do the right thing with it.
Thank you, Wiz. Again, I was at Alderdice High School, also rest in power Mac Miller, who was there at the same time. Really, as somebody that at the time was using hip hop as a way to speak to some of our younger students. I was an educator. My last a job was at Pittsburgh Public Schools. In 2010, we started the One Hood Media Academy. It was based on a study that the Heinz Endowment and Pew Center did specifically around how black men was portrayed in the media. 90% of the time was crime. Quality of life stories of black men were less than 3%. So for us, it was, this was as social media was emerging, we felt like, we could tell our own stories. And the One Hood Media Academy for us was getting a group of young men together to say, how can we tell our own stories? This is before narrative change came about in philanthropy, but we kind of emerged. We've grown, not just from young men. Oh, this is me. A lot of people know me as a socially conscious hip hop artist, which I was really professionally from around 2010 to 2017, doing socially conscious hip hop music. I kind of broke out in 2010 with a song called What If the Tea Party Was Black that went viral on social media. So most of my music was around either political issues or definitely police violence. I was the first artist to do a song around Oscar Grant. I was the first artist to do a song around Trayvon, and what I didn't know at the time when I produced this music, but it would actually lead me to have relationships with these families, and a lot of families that have lost children to police violence. And so I'm very kind of proud of that work that I did. I came back in 2018 to run One Hood Media. In 2018, all hell broke loose in Pittsburgh. We had a high-profile police killing of a young man named Antoine Rose II, who was shot 3 times while running away from police unarmed. It was on video. And so we were part of the organizers that joined to get justice for Antoine. Later on that year, we had the Tree of Life massacre. We had the largest massacre of Jewish people in the history of the United States, maybe less than a mile from where I live. And that led to a lot of solidarity work around like how white supremacy affects multiple communities. And but since our Media Academy, we've grown. Well, I only got 12 minutes. If you want any fill-ins, like just holler at me personally. We've grown to an organization. We're based in hip hop culture, and so One Hood right now has 5 pillars. Like there's 5 pillars of hip hop. Our first pillar and our through line is art. In 2017, I got a fellowship from the Nathan Cummings Foundation to launch what we call the Artivist Academy. It was an academy specifically to help to platform, develop, and give resources to artists that are using their gifts and talents to speak to issues of social justice. We've recently been supported by the Wallace Foundation for this. This was our recent cohort of artivists. Each artivist got a $5,000 honorarium. You get $1,000 for professional development as well as $1,000 to put on a show. We just had a show, if you see the Vietnamese artist all the way to my left, Mai Khoi, just did a show. She has a band. Her show is called Bad Activist. It was really dope. We also do education. We go into a lot of schools we still do our kind of Media Academy curriculum, which is like how the power of telling your own authentic story. So we do a lot of education in schools. We do media. We produce a lot of media. This was a conversation we did with Freeway Ricky Ross. And we do civic engagement work. So I just want to talk a little bit about our civic engagement work because we do our civic engagement work through what we call cultural organizing. And it's really kind of using our culture and hip hop culture as a way to connect with our community, particularly folks that don't normally vote regularly, right? We do a program with the Pittsburgh Pirates each year around Juneteenth called Artist Liberation. We brought 25 black visual artists to PNC Park to share their work. It was really dope. We also started a series called People, Politics, and Power, where again, we bring artists in where you might want to come see Chuck D, who came in and it was packed. And then we also talk about like our power and organizing. For us, we're looking at, I really feel like we're taught about voting wrong. Like we're taught about voting backwards. Right? We're only talk about voting oftentimes in a national election when your vote is the least important. And we often dismiss local politicians as being like insignificant. I tell people in Pittsburgh, our school board actually has a bigger budget than our city. And so, but we'll dismiss like, oh, you're a school board member, but that member actually has control over more resources than a city councilman or mayor in the city of Pittsburgh. So we talk about politics for us in the form of building power, community power, and also harm reduction. A couple other events we did, a conversation with Bun B, who now is like a restaurateur, you know what I'm saying? Like, he has Trill Burgers. Like, his burgers won the best burger in America on Good Morning America. Super fascinating. And we did an event with the Locks to celebrate hip-hop's 50th birthday. What was dope about this event, we did it with the Cultural Trust. And just to show, so this is an event, again, I'm trying to go fast, so I'm looking back here. We did a conversation with Yusef Salaam last year as part of our People, Politics, and Power series. I thought it was dope that Yusef Salaam, somebody who was affected negatively by the system, right, came out of, the branding of from the Central Park 5 to the Exonerated 5, right, and kind of he used his celebrity and his power and his organizing to now go back to his community. As a city council person in Harlem, we thought that was something that we wanted to share with our community. And this was kind of the Lock show that we did. And what I wanted to say about that was we did that with the Cultural Trust in Pittsburgh, and 80% of the people that came out to see this show had never gone to any Cultural Trust event in history, right? And so it just, for us, it was a way of like, to us, cultural organizing is a way to organizing and build with people around joy, around fun, around laughter, and not necessarily around like the world is ending. Like, we know the world is ending, but we just found like it was easier to organize and talk to people around like something fun, something celebratory, which is what we've tried to do. This is just an example also of how we do cultural organizing. We were part of the Made in America Festival, which takes place in Philadelphia. They had a whole, what they call Cause Village. And so this is just a little example of what we did at Made in America.
One Hood is here at Made in America and Cause Village to spread the awareness about organization, of building liberated communities through arts, activism, and social justice, and to affect cause and change.
Informing people and educating people about the RAP Act. This is a very important piece of federal legislation that will prevent prosecutors from using artists' lyrics against them in a court of law.
Shout out to Rock Nation for actually, having this be a part of the festival and having not only the music and the entertainment, but a portion of the festival where people could go and get involved in their community, register to vote, and support organizations that are doing amazing work in the different communities that they're from.
It's important because a lot of young people who don't have high GPAs, no one looks at them. And the reason we did that is because those children are hungry. And all they need is for someone to look at them and lift them up. And then once they're lifted up, you know what they do? They lift themselves up. And that's why I continue to do this, because they not only make themselves proud, they make us, the Sean Carter Foundation, proud.
Our goal of today is just to share information, to let people know in these unprecedented times that there is love and support out there, and we can all come together to make this world a better place and build the conditions for liberation.
Yes, that was actually Jay-Z's mom, right? That was. So again, this is kind of what we look like when we kind of come together in the community. One of the other things that we do at One Hood is we incubate other organizations to help them connect to resources. We don't think there should be less organizations. We think there should be more organizations. And particularly younger organizations that we incubate. So this is when we all come together. But what's interesting about this picture is there's a guy in the back throwing a one-up really high. That's actually now our new mayor. In 2021, we were able to elect the first black mayor in Pittsburgh's history. A lot of this had to do with the organizing that folks did after Antoine's death, after the Tree of Life, the solidarity organizing that we did, and after the uprising in 2020. Just to put it in perspective, this was also the first time an incumbent mayor in Pittsburgh lost a primary since 1910. And so again, to me, this was the work of a lot of black-led organizations that went out. We're 20% of the population in Pittsburgh. We had lost 10,000 black residents in Pittsburgh, but we still were able to kind of collectively come together and make that happen because a lot of people aren't voting, right? And so if you can kind of connect with the community and begin to vote in a block, you can make change. We also helped to elect in 2022, we made history again, the first black congresswoman in Pennsylvania history, Summer Lee, who's wearing all red. No disrespect to Philly, but we did that in Western Pennsylvania. Not, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And she's standing strong, and hopefully, she's going to be, as primary is going on again, but, we're going to win again. We're going to come together and win again. This year, we also elected the first woman as our county executive. We have an Allegheny County executive. It's interesting, again, part of the work that we do is around hip-hop education, right? Because a lot of times, a mayor will get more attention, but our county executive has a much larger budget. So, we do graphics like, why should you vote for a county executive? Because her budget is $1 billion. And, where is that money going, and how are we bringing that into our community? So shout out to Sarah Adamorado for winning as well. All right, so I just want to run this. This kind of just gives a little bit into One Hood's philosophy real quick. Let's go. So the mission of One Hood Media is to build liberated communities through art, education, and social justice,
while also bringing impacted people to the table to make sure that they're represented and heard and supported as they build liberated communities.
When you talk about liberation, to me, man, that's such a powerful word, but it's also daunting. It's not something that you're really able to answer until you're faced with the situation and you realize that you're in need of liberation.
The concept of One Hood actually came out of us working on around issues of community violence, that like our power is in our unity.
We need to bring in more people, because the more we move as a unit, the more we're able to actually change the infrastructure and really shake things up.
If we establish a legacy, that means we've established a relationship with the people that we serve.
We try to create an environment where you can feel free to be your authentic self in these spaces. And we're hoping that that environment can expand throughout the city.
Yeah, when we talk about liberated communities, the first one is like our personal community, and making sure that like when you walk into One Hood's offices, you feel like it's a safe space. You feel like you can be your most authentic self. You don't have to shrink down. You don't have to be quiet. And that's one thing we really work on. And so like, to me, I think one of the things that I've been really good at is like putting together a team. Our director of operations, Farouk Al-Saeed, was somebody who was almost deported because of some of the things that he did as a younger person that were not legal. We don't have to get all into that. But thankfully, he's still here. He's from Canada. He'll let you know that but he's also a hip-hop artist. He just put out a project called Revolutionary But Gorgeous. I'll just play a little bit of his video, if y'all don't mind.
Helicopters in the sky, following marches. Either they call us assailants or they calling us targets. Pray my sins away today in case tomorrow is promised. Walking road, talking cold, but I'm living Islamic. Yeah, dress on my...
I'm getting I have to wrap it up, so let me just talk good on my people real quick, and I'll wrap it up. Our Director of Education, Jasmine Green, is an amazing visual artist who goes under the name Black Girl Absolute. This is some of her work. She also was... she created these earrings after the Montgomery Brawl, if you just want to.
Jesus, not me, 'cause I throw hands.
So this went viral, and she was actually featured in the New York Times article about our community's response to the Montgomery Brawl. Shout out to Jasmine. Our lead teaching artist, Treble, is a Emmy Award-winning poet. He did a poem called Don't Clip Our Tails. I'm not going to play it because they gave me the wrap up, but it's really tight. If you look up Treble NLS, Don't Clip Our Tails, it's crazy. The brother won an Emmy for this. He's nice. Miracle Jones, our Director of Advocacy and Policy, Miracle Jones Esquire, put some respect on her name. She is a lawyer, and she does a lot of our advocacy work. She leads that work, and she's 40 under 40 honoree. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to her. And our Civic Engagement Director just became my city councilman. Kahari Mosley actually ran for city council this year and won, and has taken over city council. So he's also one of One Hood's founding members. Shout out to Kahari. The last 2 years, we were named Best Social Justice Organization in Pittsburgh. That's right, we went back to back, you know what I'm saying? Give us our love. One Hood, that's how we do it, you know what I'm saying? And that was like fan voted. And we're also a back-to-back recipient of Jordan Brand's funding. Michael Jordan was one of the people in 2020 that said he planned to put money in the community, and he's one of the people that kept our word. So in 2021, we became a community grantee for Jordan Brand, and then we came back in 2023. He re-granted us on his 60th birthday, so that's why I have Jordans on right now. Thank you, Michael. I mean, he didn't give them to me, but I still had to buy these. We're also part of a cohort started by MVP and Kerry Washington called the VIP cohort, which was really dope. We were like the Pennsylvania group. Kerry is somebody who is very, not only very involved, but like hands-on involved. It wasn't that she just cut a check and walked away. She was very much involved in the development of our organization. So shout out to her as being somebody very authentic. Lastly, we have a podcast that is... We try to be funny with our podcast called This Week in White Supremacy. I know it doesn't sound funny, but we try to like laugh and joke at the crazy stuff that happens. We have like a Karen of the week, you know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. So we're on Free Speech TV. Free Speech TV is on the Dish Network. And so like they also, they host Democracy Now! So you can watch Democracy Now! And be serious, and then watch us laugh at all the crazy shit that's happening. That's it. I'm Jasiri X. Peace. One Hood. You know what I'm saying? And I'll just leave with this. Like, in Pittsburgh, we're winning. You know what I'm saying? We're winning the narrative war. We're electing real progressives that are making real changes in our community. So I just wanted to bring some hope today. Like, we're winning, and we plan to continue to win.